Hi guys, so welcome back to another tutorial in the bug tracker series. Today we're going to be creating the screen where we actually can create the bugs ourselves, as an admin only though. So first thing we want to do is create the page, and we'll call that create bug.jsx, and then we'll need to create a component, and we'll make a folder bug create and then / edit, because it's going to do both things. We'll create two files, which will be bug form.jsx and it will be bug form.css. So inside bug form.jsx we'll bring in all our boilerplate, and we'll bring in the bug form CSS. Export as default and return. Okay, so inside the return we'll make a div and give that a class name, and we'll call that bug create. And then inside there we're just going to have a h1. Now because this is going to be create and edit, we'll pass some props in. So we'll put the prop title in the h1 we just created, and then we'll create a form. So inside the form, first thing we'll have is a label, and we'll call this name. So this will be our name input, and then we'll have an input with the name, so we can identify it, give it a placeholder, and give it bug name. We'll say it's required, and then that'll be for now. So we're going to need another label, and this will be details. Now it won't be an input, it will be a text area, because there's going to be a lot more being inputted by the user. So let's have name, details, placeholder, detailed, description on the bug, and put required again, and that'll be that. Then next we're going to want the same thing, so we'll just copy paste now, and this will be steps. So change the name to steps, and we'll put a placeholder steps to recreate the bug. Steps to recreate the bug. And then next we're going to want a drop down menu, so select, and we'll give it a name of priority, make it required, and inside the select we're going to give it three options. So option number 1 will have a value of 1, and we'll call that high for high priority, and we'll just copy and paste this 2 more times. We'll have value of 2, value of 3, and we'll go mid, low. And before I forget, we'll give that a label, and this will just be priority. And we need another drop down, which will be label assigned. Now, inside the drop down, so we'll have a select again, and we'll give it a name of assigned. Inside there, we're going to have a loop, so we're going to have to get all the users from the back end and display them, so you can select any one of the users by name rather than having to type it in, so we can actually assign it ourselves. So we'll put that in a little bit later. For now, we'll just add option and just put your name, so you have some sort of drop down box to select from. And then we'll have another label, and this will be application version, and input name version, placeholder application version. And the last thing we need is a button to be able to submit this. Give it a type of submit, and we'll just say, actually, yeah, what we'll do, we'll pass in the prop dot title. So then the title is going to say create bug or edit bug, and it will have the same title, so we know what we're doing on that bug. So now that we've got that, if we go into our app.js and we'll create a route, and inside the route is going to have a path. Now the path is going to equal the same path as what we set in the sidebar. So if we go into our sidebar JSX, we set /create. So let's do /create, and then we'll pass in. This is just temporary, just so we can actually see what we're creating, so we can style it. So we'll create bug from, and then we'll grab that from components, create an edit, bug form. We'll pass that in there, create bug. Now it's going to have a prop of title, and we'll just call that create bug. So we save that, and we cd into our front end, and npm start. Let that start up, and then we'll go to the create bug page, and we should be able to see all the form that we just created. Let's just log in, go to create bug page, and the reason we're not seeing anything is because it is there, but it's all underneath the sidebar, and we're going to have to move everything over and style it. So if we go into our form CSS, so let's grab the bug create div, and we'll give it the width of 60 VW, and we'll give it a background color, and we'll use our variable prime color, and this is the container, so we're going to make it into a flex box. So we're going to have flex wrap and make it wrappable, We'll give it a margin auto so it sits in the middle. We'll make the border rounded so it matches the rest of the application, so border radius, and we'll give it 5 pixels. We're going to make this so when we're editing it doesn't reload the page on the view page, so it sits on top of everything. So if we make the position absolute and we give it a Z index of 10, so it sits on top of everything. So if we save that and we go have a look, you see it's over here. It's not looking quite good because all of this is filling up the 60% and we haven't sized any of the input, and it's sitting over the top of the sidebar. Now the reason it's sitting over the top of the sidebar is because we haven't declared what column it's going to go in inside of our grid layout. So if we quickly go into our app.js, now this is because we're bodging it here. So where we've got the create bug, if we just make a div and give it a class name of page container, and we wrap the create inside that div. Save that, log back in, and now it's sitting over there. So we need to style the inputs and the H1 and everything inside of it. So in the CSS, we'll do the H1 first. So we'll grab the bug create H1. So we will set the minimum width for the H1 inside the flexbox to 100% of the container, and then we'll set the text align to center. We'll make the text a little bit bigger to 2.5 rem. We'll give it a bottom border so it's separate from, border bottom, so it's separate from everything. So 1 pixel, groove, and we'll do it white. Save that and let's have a look. So now it's starting to look a bit better. So if we grab the form, bug create form, and we set the form to a min width of 80%, so it's got a bit of a padding. We want to just make a display for the form, and we'll display it as grid, and this is so we can position our labels correctly compared to the inputs. So we'll go grid template columns, and we want the labels to take up 30%, and we want the inputs to take up 70%, and then we'll have a slight gap between them, so we'll make a column gap of 20 pixels. So then if we go back over, you see it's all sitting there nicely, but now we just need to style the labels and the inputs, and we need to just define where the button's going, because we want it to sit between the two grids, not just over on column 1, because we want it to sit between the two columns rather than just inside one column itself. So if we go and get the, we'll do the labels first. We'll create label, and we'll text align to the right, and let's make the font size a bit bigger. Let's say 1.5 rem. Let's have a look at that. So that's looking a hell of a lot better already. And then if we grab the, we're going to grab a couple things here. So we'll go bug create. And we're going to grab all the inputs, the text areas, and the selects, the drop downs. And we're going to give all of them a border radius, because you have a look at the square edges, I just find look a hell of a lot tackier, less professional. Let's give that a border radius of 5 pixels, and we're actually going to give the border, and we'll set it to none. So as you can see, they're all sitting on top of each other, and we're going to need a bit of a gap between them. And inside the form, we will set a row gap to 20 pixels as well. And now that's looking a lot better. So we just need to center the create bug button. So let's grab the button inside of it, and we will set the grid column to 2. So it's sitting in central in line with the inputs. So now we've created that, we need to be able to get the input from all of these. So we're going to need to bring in use state from React, and we're going to make a constant, and we'll call this bug object. Object, and then we'll do set bug object, use state, and we're going to set the state to a new, we better import it really. So if we import the bug model, bug model from not controller, sorry, models, bug model. So we'll make new bug model, and we're going to pass in the bug that we'll be passing over from props. And the reason we'll be passing a bug over from props is when we edit the bug itself, if we pass the bug over and set the state, it will set all the inputs so we can just edit it rather than have to re-input all of the data itself. So if we grab the props and we'll do props.bug. If it's null, then it's just going to create an empty bug for when we actually create, so we can actually create a bug. And then we'll make a function, and we'll call this input changed, and this takes a event, so when it's passed, it gets past the event, which is basically the button or the input that triggers it. So if we set the bug object, and we need to set this to the previous version of what it is, so it doesn't overwrite. So we'll do a spread operator. So we go ... and then we'll grab the bug object. And then after we do that, we need to get what input is changing it. And to do that, we can grab the name from the event that's triggering it. But to use it as a key inside of an object, you need to use square brackets. And inside square brackets, we'll grab the event, and we'll get the target, so what clicked it, and then we'll get the target's name. So if it's name, that'll be the key. And then for the value, we'll do e.target.value. So that will set the bug for name if you type it in the name, and everything else. So we have to link that function to the inputs, and we want to go inside the first input, and we'll go on change, and then we'll do input changed, and we want to make this a managed input, because when we pass the props in, we want to set what the text already is the size to what the bug's value already is. So if we go value and we set that to bug object, and this one's name, so .name, and I'm going to copy and paste this, so I'd have to type it on all of them, and we'll do it on the text area, which is details, steps, priority, assigned, and the last one, version. Last one, app version, and that'll be version. So if we save that, now if we go back, it won't change anything, but we can now type and it will be changing the state inside of here. So when we actually submit it, it will have all of the details. Now, we're not going to set up the submit or anything like that at the moment, because we'll do that when we have our back end. So now we can create one. We want to be able to go in here and click this, and we'll have a edit and delete button for the admin. And then once you click that, that pop-up will come on top of the view bug. So inside component, if we have a new folder and we'll call this edit, delete, and then we'll have two new files, and we'll call it edit panel.jsx, edit panel.css. We'll bring in all the boilerplate for React, and don't forget to bring in the CSS. Export default and return. Now we'll just have a div, give that a class name of edit panel, and this is just going to take two buttons, and this will take two buttons, and we'll give the buttons a class. Actually, no, we won't even give them a class name. And for now, this button will be edit, and delete. Save that, and inside our view bug component, not the page, view bug component, we will import edit panel, and we'll just put it at the top beside the close button. So edit panel, save that, pop back in, and we've got two buttons there for edit and delete. Now we want to position these over to the left and be the same as close. So let's open up the edit panel CSS, and we will grab the edit panel div, and we'll set the position to absolute, and we'll set it left to 0 and top to 0, and we'll set the margin to 10 pixels. Save that, go back over, and it's just sitting over. Perfect. They don't do anything, so we need to create. So they don't do anything at the moment. So if we get props, and and on the buttons we'll do onClick, and we'll call props.clicked. What we'll do props.edit clicked, and then we'll do the same for delete. But we'll do delete clicked, and then inside the view component we would get the edit clicked, and delete clicked. So let's create a function, and let's call this edit clicked, and then we'll call edit clicked, and then we'll do the same for delete clicked. Now we're not going to do anything with delete at the moment because all it's going to do is call a blank action in Redux, but we'll link it up so we can come back to it a little bit later on. We won't actually implement it properly until we actually have a backend to do anything with it. So with the edit, we're going to need to bring in React. So we're going to bring in state. So use state, and this is going to be const. I'm going to make a state, so we're going to do display edit and set display edit use state, and we'll just set this to false. So we need to import, and we'll edit bug, and we'll import this from the create and edit and get the bug form, and we're going to make a conditional just outside of the div, and the conditional is going to be display bug. So we just display edit, sorry, and we're just checking if it's true. So if it's true, we're going to display the edit bug. Is it edit bug? Yeah, we just called edit bug, and we're going to pass in title, and the title is going to be edit bug, and it needs to have a bug because we're editing it. We want to pass us a bug. Now the bug we're passing is because we're already viewing the bug in the bug view. We've got a const at the top with that bug already created, so we'll pass that bug into that prop, and it will have a clicked, but we won't worry about that for now. So if we save that, go back in and log in, click on view, click edit. You see it's not doing anything, and that's because we've got nothing happening inside the edit clicked function. So we need to set the display edit, and we just want to set it to opposite of display edit. Save that. Let's go test it again. Edit, and now we've got the edit screen coming up, working quite nice. Now we want it to sit a little bit away from the top, so you just go into the form CSS, and we'll add a padding in the bug create. So we'll set padding, and we'll set 1% from the top, and we'll set 5% left and right. That makes that nice little bit bigger. And what we'll do is we're going to push all of the content. So if we refresh, we don't want that sat too close to the top either. So in our index CSS, in our page container, we will put a margin top and set it to 5%. So it pushes everything down a bit. Oh, a bit too much then. 2%. That's better. So now we've got the close button, the edit button, but we need a close button on this edit button at the top as well. So let's go into our create bug section in the form. We want a close button at the top, so we'll do button, give it a class name of close button, and call it close button. Now we only want to display this when we're not on the page, when we're actually on the edit page, because we don't want to close a page, well, close the panel on a page. So we'll put a conditional, we'll grab the props dot title, and we'll only display it if it equals edit bug. So now if the title equals that, it's going to display that. So we'll save that, go back into Chrome, edit, now I've got edit bug, but it's not doing anything. But if we go into create bug, you see we don't actually have that close button. So let's link up the close button. So if we go our on click, and we pass it back to props dot close, and inside the, where are we, bug view component, in the edit bug we want to get the close, and we're going to call the edit clicked to toggle. So that will now close. Perfect. We're not going to link the edit bug button up or the delete or anything like that at the moment. We'll do that after our backend is being implemented. So that is it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will be bringing in a dashboard. It will be a quick tutorial because it's just going to have a couple of panels just to show how many bugs in which priority are being currently active. So I hope you've liked this tutorial or learned something new. If you have, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next ones.